Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's director. By the way, shout out to Marilyn as well. And she's director, making her directorial debut with a new movie that's called SABILLA 6. I have with us Shannon Atkins. Shannon, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
It's a pleasure having you on. So, by the way, I've interviewed everybody from your movie already, but I'm now talking to the director. Tell us a little bit about SABILLA 6.
So SABILLA 6 is a very personal movie for me. We actually are going by a lot of my personal experiences in this film. Todd Martin is writing, and he did an amazing job. I sent him just a whole bunch of stuff, and he just put it into this amazing script. But SABILLA 6 is it's like a modernized Strangeland, if you will. It is about the dangers of online dating, but not just online dating. It's about the dangers of social media as a whole.
That's an interesting topic. I was saying in some other interviews, like, you don't hear, I don't know why in society or in news, we don't hear about the bad things that happen on online dating or even social media. It seems like it's so quiet, but I mean, we know it happens, right?
Right. And that's the thing, is we put so much of our lives on social media, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like all of it. We're literally displaying our lives on social media, and we don't realize how much of our personal lives are on there and the dangers that can go along with it. And I mean, I have like a perfect example. My cousin and I were going to go see a show. I shared the show for a friend, didn't even say that we were going, and we ended up going, and somebody followed us, ended up at the bar that night for the show. He just took a chance thinking, oh, I hope that they're going to be there. And it was a pretty interesting night.
I can imagine that's terrifying. Now, by you living in Maryland as well as myself, Maryland has one of the stupidest fucking things I don't think any other state has, and that's called a Maryland Judiciary Case Search. If you have someone's first and last name, you can literally type it in. If they have any kind of traffic ticket or anything, all you need is their first and last name. And then from there, you can look up everything about them, their date of birth, their race, their height, their weight. And here's the scary fucking part about it, their fucking address.
Yes. And I don't think that should be allowed.
No. And I don't know why Maryland does that. But, like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
So this is your first movie. And you've always been a horror fan. You've kind of always been around in the horror community. What made you to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make this movie.
So, funny story how SABILLA 6 even came about. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of personal experiences once we got down and started writing it and stuff. But this actually all came about from a message that I received through Facebook Messenger one night. And I flipped out and I messaged Matt Burns, and I was like, hear me out. What if we do a movie? And I had said something like off the wall. I'm like, Messenger Massacre. And he was like, well, we can't call it that. But I had forwarded him this message, and it was just fucking terrible. I mean, I don't understand why people send you the things that they send you. And I honestly don't know why they think that that's going to work, especially if you're trying to pick up somebody. But it was terrible. And then followed along with a dick pic, because why not? I don't get it. And
surprise.
Let me just tell you guys, do you know what happens when you send us a dick pic? We send it to all of our friends and we make fun of you. If not that, we send it to other guys who have sent us pictures.
So I had Matt on and we were talking about dick pics, and I was like, I've never sent a dick pic out. Like, that's never something I've done. And like, because number one, oh, how the fuck do you take a dick pic? Like, how do you master the angle? I don't feel like no one's dick looks good in a fucking dick pic or just a cell phone. But like, where do you get that move? I mean, where do you just randomly send a the act of actually randomly sending a woman a dick pic makes absolutely no sense to me. But I know, I would say 50% of men have done it or do it.
I thought it was funny when I watched the show with you and Matt Burns, and he was like, I want to know who this worked for. Like, comment below. And I was literally waiting for it. I'm like, seriously, like, which one of you guys, like, did this actually work for? And then, you know, sorry to say, but if it did work for you, then I'm pretty sure the person that you're trying to pick up has absolutely no class whatsoever.
But I assume it works. This is the reason why I assume it works. But it's almost like when it comes to online dating, the guys who say, hey, you want to fuck, right? That has to work because unless men are insane, which I think some of us are, but you're saying that a large percentage of men are insane. I believe it works 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they continue doing it. Because I feel like when it comes, especially online dating, there's a lot of women on it that are just looking for dicks, too. Or looking to fuck.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, you got just as many, like, you know, horny, stupid, crazy women out there as you do men. I mean, like, I've even seen it. Like, I've had friends, that are literally like, oh, I'm going to go meet this guy tonight. And I'm like, oh, how'd you meet him? I talked to him on Messenger this morning. I'm like, oh. That, you know, there's your fairy tale right there.
Yes. But, like, so in your movie, like, there's someone who's preying on women who from online dating. And, like, I mean, that's a real life. I'm not a woman. Back when I was doing online dating, like, I had my own fears. I mean, there's as many crazy women out there as men. But, I mean, I can imagine as a woman, I don't understand why any woman would do online dating because you're definitely meeting a complete stranger. And one of the, I was about to say beautiful things, but one of the awful things about online dating is you can literally be whoever you want to be.
Yeah. But it's the same thing with social media. You know, you've got so many people on social media that don't have profile pictures or anything like that. It comes up that you have like 50 or so mutual friends, and a lot of people accept it. I, however, do not. Even if I get a friend request and it says I have so many mutual friends, and it's always Matt Burns. I love you, Matt, but it's always Matt Burns. So I'm always like sending it to him. I'm like, all right, who is this? Am I going to have a problem? He's like, no, it'll be fine. You'll be fine, you know. And for the most part, he's right. But then you get your few in there that, you know, they just want to friend request you so that they have access to Messenger. And then that really irritates me. People will see that you're online or like you post a photo or something. And then the next thing you know, Messenger's going off. They haven't commented or said anything about the photo, but you know that they're watching you because they know that you just posted. And then your Messenger goes off immediately. That's just guys, it's creepy. Just so you know. So.
I was literally having a conversation with someone a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know, I've never ever like randomly messaged a woman who I don't fucking know on Facebook, any of that stuff, right? But I said, but somebody asked me, what is the creepiest thing, Travis? Because every man, we've done something creepy, so don't fucking judge me about what I'm about to fucking say. But every man has done something fucking creepy when it came to social media. And the one thing I did, it wasn't something similar to that, what that guy you said did. It was something similar to that, but not that full creepy. I don't think it was. But there was a woman that I knew that was a friend of a friend, and I knew that she was going to be at an event, and I happened to be at an event. Now, I did not approach myself, but I just happened to be there. And someone told me that was creepier than just randomly messaging a woman. Is it?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how the interaction goes or how like your approach was when you got there. But I mean, if you walk up to him and be like, "Oh, I saw that you were coming here, so I decided to come."
No, you don't say that. You don't say that.
But it's still creepy even if you send a message and you're like, "Hey, creepy. I'm going to show up." Like, you know, I know that you're going. I'm going to go. Like, you know, maybe I think it's all about the approach.
Yes. Because I was like, "Oh, this is something cool. She's going to be at something cool that I did not know even exists." I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect opportunity for our paths to cross." But our paths didn't cross, and I was just there looking creepy. But
That's great.
yes. All right. So are you shooting Sabilla 6 in the DMV area or somewhere else?
We have not shot in Maryland yet, but we are going
Okay.
to. We are shooting mainly right now in PA and West Virginia.
Harpers Ferry area?
Martinsburg.
Martinsburg. Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of movies being shot in that Martinsburg, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia area.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's a beautiful. It's a. By the way, listen, not all of West Virginia is crazy. There are some beautiful areas. By the way, if you've never been in West Virginia, that Harpers Ferry is one of them. Like you've never been to
Harpers Ferry is beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's a small town that if you like to hike, if you like restaurants, Airbnb, wineries, it's a beautiful place.
So where we're shooting in West Virginia is not. I mean, it's a lot of property. It's a great property, but it is very creepy. The spot that we are filming at. So,
which is good for a horror film.
Yes.
Now, so what are some of the challenges? I mean, like I said earlier, this is your first horror movie. This is your first time behind the camera. What are some challenges that you have ran into? There's a lot of new filmmakers who are, watch my channel. What are some things that you've ran into so far?
Okay, so I made the mistake of choosing to direct and act in my film. That I will never do again. Like, lesson learned. But when it came down to it for casting for this film, I couldn't, and not that there's not like amazing actresses out there, because there are, and I have some great ones in SABILLA, but I'm portraying myself in this film. So I couldn't find somebody else that was actually going to bring that to the table for me, because I've already experienced it.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Now, were you worried that this was going to bring up any past traumas, or do you feel like this is going to be like a relief for you by making this movie?
I think it's a relief for me. Not only that, we'll wait. When we get to some certain scenes, we'll see we'll see how that goes. I think it'll go well, but I mean, with anybody that has any kind of trauma, I feel like these movies bring that up in any kind of like situation that you're in, especially if you're in a horror film, if you're playing a victim, especially, that's what you're channeling. You're channeling all that trauma. You're channeling that pain, that fear, all of it, to bring it out in your acting.
So I cannot imagine like doing a movie from like my own personal experience, especially if it's like a traumatic experience. Because I don't know. Maybe it would be a relief. Maybe it would be like, hey, I'm putting this out there so I can put it behind me. But I was like, damn it. But it could be the complete opposite, where I could be a fucking wreck on set.
So I wanted to do this because I literally want to send a message. Like that's what I want to do. I want to send a message. I want to send a message to all the women that are so, trusting when it comes to online dating, messenger, social media as a whole, to make sure that you have more privacy settings and, stuff like that. I mean, everybody's watching you. Everybody's watching you. And especially like my actress friends and stuff like that, everything's public. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
People are watching us constantly, and you don't know who's watching you.
What are 5 personal things that if you could give any woman who's on social media or online dating, what's 5 red flags would you tell her to look out for?
Well, okay. If somebody sends you a friend request and you delete that friend request, and then they automatically jump in your messenger and say, hey, I've been trying to send you a friend request. That's a red flag. Anytime somebody messages you, hey, beautiful, don't.
Okay.
Don't. That is a red flag in itself. Anytime somebody says, I saw you the other day, I get that a lot. They're like, oh, I saw you at the store. Oh, I saw you here, or I saw you there. And then I'm like, well, why didn't you say hi? And then they have no answer. And I'm like, so what, you're just watching? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And Anytime somebody asks you what your shoe size is, what goes to my head, and trust me, they do it a lot. They do it a lot. They see photos of
Really?
you, and for whatever reason, they're like, what size shoe do you wear? The first thing that goes to my head is, do you have a foot fetish? Or are you trying to see if I'm going to fit in your freezer? Like, that's what goes through my head.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I would jump to the foot fetish.
But the main thing that I would say to women is make sure that you have your privacy settings. I know that when we're we're posting about movies and stuff like that, we're supposed to make all of our posts public. And I get it. It's to get the name and everything out there like that. But as much as you can keep private, you should keep private, in my opinion.
Now, I'm going to give 5 tips as a man to women because, listen, I've been a dog and a fucking womanizer at some point in my life. So I'm going to give to women 5 tips when it comes to meeting men online. First one, if a man says this statement right here, "Oh, I'm not looking. I don't have any social media or anything because of my job or something." That's a fucking lie. That guy is definitely married or he's hiding who he is. 100%. 100% of the time. Everybody has every form of social media. There's no profession out there that does not, that restricts you from having social media. That's from the fucking CIA to the president of the United States is allowed to have social media. Red flag number 1. Red flag number 2. I'm not looking for. Tom, what are you looking for? Well, listen, I just want to see how it goes, or listen, I don't want to jump in anything serious. That's saying I'm just trying to fuck you. Listen, it's never going to be anything more. It's never going to be anything more because 4 months from now, if you ask me, I'm going to come to you and say, "Well, I told you that I wasn't looking for anything serious," which he did. So look out for that. Mm-hmm. Number 3, a man who cannot answer his phone in the evenings or text message or lines of communication stops during times when he should be available. That is a huge red flag. That's a man who's married or is living with a woman. Let me see. Number 4. Number 4 is a man who brags way too much about what he has. Any man who brags about the money, businesses, whatever, is 100 full of shit. That men with money do not brag about how much money they have. Do you know who brag about how much money they have? Broke men, broke dudes.
Exactly.
Broke dudes. And the final thing I'm gonna give to any woman too: any man who starts bragging about his dick size or how good he is in bed is absolutely awful in bed. Men who are good in bed do not brag about how good they are in bed. Thank you. But those are my 5
I got another one.
Okay.
If they can only see you at night. You can't go to restaurants. You can't go to movies. You can't do anything. They can only see you at night.
You're a smash chick. You're a smash chick at that point. Mm-hmm. A man who does not want to take you out in public is embarrassed of you. They're embarrassed of you. That's what it is. They're 100% embarrassed to be out in public with you. That's not even hiding you because they have a wife or a woman. No. Because married men fucking still take their side chicks out for dates. He is 100% embarrassed of you. That's the reason why. 100%. And also, too, ladies, just because a man has sex with you does not mean he finds you attractive. Because men...
very true.
Yes. All right. So those are good tips. All right. So Shannon, I had Amanda Macon on recently, and she was also talking about that you're also directing a segment and Head on the Writer's Block. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I kind of got thrown into that one, which it's fine. Head on the Writer's Block, I actually really like Head on the Writer's Block, the anthology. The writing is very great. I love what Matt Burns and Chris Ridings and them are trying to do with this. They're literally trying to showcase all of everybody's talent. So each film's directed by a different person. Each film's filmed by a different person. It's, all of it, different cast members, but it's trying to showcase all of our local talent. So I really do like what they're doing with Head on the Writer's Block. So yes, I am directing the installment called The Morning After. And we have filmed, we've done 2 scenes and we have 1 more to do. And then we'll be wrapped on that.
That's incredible because this area definitely has a lot of, I didn't even fucking know until a couple months ago that like the Maryland, Virginia, DC, Pennsylvania has so much talent in indie horror.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know either until I started like getting into all of this. And I mean, just a year ago, the only thing that I did, like Matt Burns reached out to me. Wesley Spangler was doing a movie called Zero about zombies.
Yes.
And he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, you want to be a zombie?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." Like, I'm like, I can do this. So I went and I did that. And it was so much fun. Even with, what Zero was, Zero became huge. Like, I don't think any of us realized like how big Zero was going to be. And it was a fun project. Wesley Spangler is amazing to work with. I had a great time with him. And then after that, Matt Burns reached out to me and he said, "So do you want to play a lead in Head on the Writer's Block?" And this would be for the first Head on the Writer's Block anthology. And I was like, ooh. So I had to kind of think about that one. But I read the script and I fell in love with the script. It was so good. And that's my first leading role. I play Brooke in Just a Night in the Woods on Head on the Writer's Block. I am with Jim Crutt, Russell Sage Patrick, Nate Nelson, and Jordan Miller filmed that.
Awesome. Now, do you prefer working as an actress or do you like the director side better?
I really do enjoy acting, but I don't know. I'm having a really good time with directing. I thought that directing was going to be a little challenging for me, but directing hasn't been challenging for me. I really am enjoying it. I think the hardest part, even with acting and stuff, it's everybody's schedules. Everybody has so many things going on right now. So just trying to get everybody scheduled and get all of our scenes filmed, like that's the biggest problem I've had.
Now, one of the questions I'm going to ask you as an indie filmmaker, I know you're new at this, but how do you feel about, right now when it comes to indie film? I've asked this question many times, but people have different answers. I want to see what your answer is.
Okay.
Right now, it's easier to get your movie out there, with Tubi and Plex and all kinds of other streaming services. Do you think eventually, because now there's so many, I go into Tubi right now and there's so many horror movies, but I like because there's so many classic horror movies that I can rewatch. But when it comes to indie horror movies, there's so many movies that it's for somebody who's part of the audience, you don't know what to choose. You don't know what to watch. And you're just skimming. So do you think that's what actually makes it a little bit harder for newer indie filmmakers to stand out if Tubi or Plex or one of the streaming services is their choice platform?
I do think that it's a little harder, but fortunately with the indie film community, we do all that we can to get films out there, everybody's films. Like we're constantly trying to support everyone. So as soon as somebody announces, oh, my movie's on Tubi, oh, I'm going to be on Plex, oh, I'm going to do this, like we're constantly sharing it. We're constantly word of mouth, just, getting it out there so people know. I remember when Jester came out and Jester went on Prime, like it went on Prime first and everybody watched it. Like it was a huge hit and it was all because of, Facebook and word of mouth and getting stuff out there. So I think that we ourselves do the majority of promoting the films and letting people know that it's on Tubi more than Tubi does.
Yeah, because Tubi gets you lost in the shuffle. Because like I've even tried looking up, certain indie horror movies, filmmakers. I tried looking up their movie and it's like hard to find. Like you have to sometimes even put the director's name under search to even find a movie. Mm-hmm. They got it so buried down.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited to see where indie horror. Of course, I have this channel and I love indie horror. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. But at the same time, I'm also a little nervous because I'm worried about some that next big movie might get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, but what I will say, and I got a lot of, friends that do a lot of Hollywood stuff as well and stuff like that. And, no disrespect to anybody, but I really think that right now, indie films, not just horror, but indie films as a whole, is huge. And it's going to continue to be huge because Hollywood doesn't seem to be able to come up with an original idea for a while now. So, and people might get mad at me for saying that, but you're taking all of our classics, you're turning them into horror films, you're redoing everything. Like, nothing new is coming out.
Correct.
Whereas indie horror, everybody's doing their own thing. So you're guaranteed, whatever movie it is, you're guaranteed to have an original idea. You're guaranteed to have something new.
I agree. Now I have a controversial question to ask you to spin off of that.
Okay.
How do you feel about, this might get you in trouble. How do you feel about horror filmmakers taking, there's a lot of Disney and Winnie the Pooh and shit like that on public domain. How do you feel about horror movie filmmakers taking those and making them into horror movies?
I probably will get in trouble, but I don't know. Everybody hates me anyway. I don't give a fuck. Again, I feel that it's not an original idea. And I feel like this is too easy. When I look at it as a filmmaker and be like, oh, I could do that. I can grab that. I can turn it into this, or I can turn it into that. But it's not your idea. So that's how I feel about it.
Because that's the way now that a lot of indie filmmakers are going. They're going that route because they've seen the success of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and the sequel. Making a couple $1 million, which was limited release, and now they got a whole universe. And I've seen more and more indie horror filmmakers going that route because I guess they think, well, if they did it, then I can do it, and it's going to be a success.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I even said something to Matt Burns a couple weeks ago. I was like, what kind of world do we live in where Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2's got like a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 95 in audience? He's like, it's got to be rigged. I was like, that's what I would think, but
yeah, because I saw the first one. Because I don't bash indie horror movies. I try not to, but
no, not at all. I watch all of them just to be supportive, but
that Winnie the Pooh movie, I didn't see the second one. I'm probably not going to see the second one. But that first one was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life, and
I agree.
And like when I talk about originality, like it was definitely a cash grab, and I paid good money to see that movie in the fucking theaters to support an indie horror movie. And because it was a fandom event, so it was more expensive than a regular movie ticket. And I went there, I was like, this is so fucking lazy. This is definitely a cash grab. This is insulting indie horror fans. Like, this is taking advantage of indie horror fans. And this is fucking despicable.
Mm-hmm.
But then people ran out and seen part 2, which I don't fucking get. So, I don't know.
Yeah, not me. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not supporting that shit at all. I'm not supporting that shit at all because it's definitely a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Shannon, you watch my show a lot, right? So you know what time it is, right? I'm going to ask you
probably
3
questions
random
you're going to ask me that I can't answer.
Yes. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
First question. All right. You got to marry one of these 3 iconic horror characters. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be
Michael
Leatherface?
Myers. Go ahead.
I think it was Amanda I asked this question to. I think she said the same thing. But so Michael Myers it is. Why Michael Myers, by the way?
I don't know. Well, it's my favorite horror franchise. I think maybe it's because my birthday is right there at Halloween. So it's always been a big thing to me. But I don't know. There's something about Michael Myers. He's a man that doesn't fucking talk and he's constantly chasing you. I don't know. There's just something about Michael Myers. There's just like that seductive thing about Michael Myers.
See, like a stalker.
He's kind of like a stalker, but he, you know, at least he is, what am I trying to say? Consistent.
So you like a consistent stalker.
Yeah, there you go.
That's going to follow you for decades. Okay. That's good.
You have no idea.
Yes. All right. Second question. Okay. What iconic horror series are you fucking done with? Like a year, like, please stop making these movies. I'm done.
Well, this is going to contradict what I just said, but Halloween. Blumhouse has destroyed Halloween. I don't even.
I agree.
Yeah, and I say this to people all the time. They're like, "We need a Friday the 13th. We need this, this, and this." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because it'll be Blumhouse, and I don't know what has happened with them. Either they stopped doing drugs or they started doing drugs. I don't know, but they have lost their touch, in my opinion. Somebody tagged me in something the other day about a new Child's Play, and I was like, "If Blumhouse doesn't touch it, then I'll watch it."
Blumhouse does I was explaining to someone, I said it's the 80-20 rule with Blumhouse. 80% of their movies are shit, but then you got 20%. Every once in a while, you're like, oh, Black Phone, this is interesting. This is a good movie. Like, every once in a while, you'll get a gem. Like, the first Get Out, Jordan Peele's first movie, Get Out, was a Blumhouse movie.
I love Get Out. Love it.
And that's really the only Jordan Peele movie I really like. You know, I love is. I'm not saying the other ones are bad, but I love Get Out. So I mean, Blumhouse puts out a treasure every once in a while, but I think it's because of those treasures that they know that horror fans are going to come and see. Oh, it's a Blumhouse movie. I'm gonna go out and spend money on it, and they make those movies so cheaply that it's always going to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So they just push out crappy movies because they know the horror fans want to run and see them.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they're going to make a profit.
You would sit down and watch a movie and you would get so excited. You would see that creepy room. You would see the girl walking down. You would see it say Blumhouse and you're so excited. Yes. It's going to be a badass fucking movie. And now I turn it on and I'm like, oh, great. Like, what is this going to be? I was very disappointed with Imaginary.
I heard. So I didn't even go see that. I heard it was bad.
Really wanted to see it. I was really excited about that one and totally disappointed.
Yeah, Blumhouse definitely lets me down. I mean, the last two good Blumhouse movies I saw was Halloween 2018. I mean, and fucking Black Phone. And Black Phone. I mean, those were the best two. And I feel like those movies. Well, of course, 2018. And I feel like Black Phone came out in 2020. So like, and Blumhouse has done put out about 10 movies since, and none of them are good.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. Halloween needs to stay dead. I'm a huge Halloween fan. 1978 is my favorite horror movie.
Yes.
I enjoyed 2018. I saw Kills in the theaters, and I somewhat liked Kills. But I came home and watched it, and I was like, I don't know why I like this. This was a piece of shit. And then Ends was just... At that point, I don't want to see another Halloween movie in my life.
No, I don't. And they were talking about trying to do another one, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, I don't want to see another.
It's done. Like, you destroyed this.
Between Rob Zombie and Blumhouse, I'm done with Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Put that away. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Right up there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Put those motherfuckers away. I don't want to see another one of those movies in this lifetime. I'm done.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't get me wrong. There's some great ones. I was surprised, a little impressed with the last one that they did.
You were impressed?
I didn't particularly care for the story, the one they put on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
particularly care for the story, but I was impressed with the kill scenes. There were
The
some
kills
pretty
were the
cool
best
kill
part.
scenes. The part on the bus was just, that's just pure chaos. Like it just didn't
Hmm.
stop, and I'm like, it's kind of fucking cool. Like,
Yep.
but then there was like some really drawn out parts. I didn't really care for the actors, but
Oh,
it
they're
wasn't
bad.
as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It was bad. It wasn't the worst. Chainsaw Massacre has some real bad movies. I mean, some real bad movies. Unwatchable movies in that series. For me, like you said, the kills were great, but the whole Sarah Hardesty story, bringing her in, I did not know where they were going with that shit. And the
Yeah,
characters were some of the most unlikable characters I've ever seen in a horror movie in my whole entire life. It was bad that my favorite character. It was bad that my favorite character was the redneck gun guy. Like he was my favorite character. I was sad when
yeah,
he
he
died.
was awesome.
I felt sad. I thought I was gonna hate him, and then I was like, oh my god, he's my favorite character. Why is he dying?
Yep.
Yes. All right. So the final question. All right. Blumhouse backs up a Brinks truck to your house right now, and they wanted you to reboot a iconic horror movie. Which one is it going to be?
I think I would fix Exorcist.
Oh, please don't do that. No, leave Exorcist alone. Shannon, what are you doing? Leave Exorcist alone.
Exorcist Believers was terrible.
It was terrible. Leave it alone. Leave Exorcist alone.
But they're doing another one.
I know, but listen, don't touch it. I don't think it's smart for anybody to touch Exorcist. I feel like
there's not really a whole lot of iconic horror movies that I would want to reboot, because I feel like they don't need to be rebooted. They need to just be left alone. And the ones that are being rebooted are just absolutely terrible. Like, I mean, look what they did with Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah.
It's just, they're classics for a reason.
I didn't know so many people hated Scream. By the way, the more and more I do interviews, I ask people like, what series? Everybody has been saying Scream a lot. Like people are done with Scream. I did not know people were done with Scream.
They've killed all the good people are gone. They've taken all the good actors out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people are done with Scream. I kind of get it, but I like Scream 6 up until the last 15, 20 minutes. But I would not put Scream on my list because I feel like Scream is one of those movie series that's pretty consistent. I mean, there's some okay ones in there, but there's nothing bad. None of those movies are bad.
Not bad, but they have lagged on that story. Like it's just getting. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this new one, because I don't know how they're going to do another one.
I don't know what they're going to do.
And like honestly, when they killed off David Arquette, I was like, I was pretty much done then. I was like, how can you do this?
Can I be honest about something? I hate the Fab Four. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. The Fab Four that's the new Scream characters. That's Jenna Ortega and his sister, and the biracial brother and sister. I can't fucking stand them.
I can't either, and it's funny because I like Jenna Ortega. She's a great actress. She really is, but I don't like her for Scream.
No, she's annoying for Scream. That character is annoying to me.
Mm-hmm. All
right, Shannon, where can everyone find you?
Facebook mainly. You can follow my movie page, the SABILLA 6 movie. If you want to check out Head on the Writer's Block, Small Town Horrors, Hit List Video, Chris Writings, other movies that I've done. Crickfoot, you can check that out on Zombie Fuel. That's done by Bone Johnson. But yeah, mainly on Facebook. A lot of stuff's on my personal page. But Blood and Breakfast. I'm part of Blood and Breakfast. You can check that out for Absurd Productions. That's right. You said that you were going to do a part for that.
Yes. It was fun. I did a couple weeks ago. It was pretty fun. So
yeah, I'm excited to see the finished project for Blood and Breakfast. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Mark Burns.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome guy. All right. So listen, Shannon, we learned a lot in this interview. We learned not to send you dick pics, not to message you out of the blue. We learned not to show up where somewhere you posted you're gonna be online. But most importantly, we learned that for everyone to look out for your movie, your debut movie, Sabilla 6, as well as head on the writer's block. You have a segment in that, and also look out for Travis Bruce and Shannon Atkins in Blood and Breakfast coming up soon.
Yes.
Shannon, this was fun. I'll see you at Carolina.
This was fun. This was awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
Yes. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce and Shannon Atkins. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.